I have told you before that comedy is supposed to be offensive. That is why I believe comedy today is being attacked. With this in mind, I would like to show you a segment from some South Park episode that I found online. I'm not sure what episode or what show, what special it came from, but I think it makes a very good point about the cancer that is transgenderism. I want you to take a look at it, and then I want to discuss it. Take a look at this.
Just what makes you think it's okay to go inside the girls' bathroom?
Because I'm transgender. I looked it up. That means I can use the girl shitter.
You are not transgender, Eric. You don't even know what that means.
Yeah, it means I live a life of torture and confusion because society sees me as a boy, but I'm really a girl.
All right, well, if you identify yourself as a girl, you must find yourself attracted to boys. Is that right?
That's actually not true. I can be transgender without it having anything to do with the gender I'm attracted to. Check the state bylaws.
All right, listen, Eric.
Erica.
Listen, Eric. You must know why we can't have you in the girls' bathroom.
All I know is I'm transgender, and you can't make me go to the bathroom with the cisgenders.
With the what?
Cisgender. It's the politically correct name for people who aren't transgender. If you identify with the sex you were born with, then you're cis.
But then cisgender is just normal.
Saying normal is extremely offensive to people who aren't in that group. Trust me, you don't want this hot potato. Just let him use the girls' room.
But this isn't a hurting, confused child we're talking about. This is Eric Cartman.
Nobody else is gonna know that. You better just give him what he wants.
So Eric Cartman just has us in some kind of bathroom checkmate?
Actually, it's more like a royal flush.
Now, in that clip, Eric Cartman says he identifies as transgender and is trying to force his way into the female bathroom, into the school that he attends. And he's going up against the administration, and they're trying to push back and say, Eric, you're not transgender. You don't know what you're talking about. In order to be transgender, you must then be attracted to biological males, then, aren't you? And he tries to push back. He also quotes state laws that are on the books. Now, I find it interesting because I think this points out something that is very, very troublesome with the transgender movement today. I believe the transgender movement as a whole is a ploy to cause confusion and chaos. That is why it's been co-opted by progressives who hate America. They want to cause ultimate confusion and chaos and destruction. And how better to be able to do that than to be able to confuse basic biological facts. That a man can just simply identify as a woman, live as a woman, and then take female hormones and then be able to do whatever they want. That's not the way society should be ran. I appreciate South Park. I appreciate the creators who are libertarians like myself. I appreciate the fact that they are able to use comedy to be able to make some sort of social commentary to make people think. That's what I've observed through the South Park specials that I have watched. Now, I may not always agree with them, but I appreciate their voice because America is experiencing a lot of confusion today. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten the God of the Bible who gave us our society. We have forgotten that God, that our founding documents acknowledge that our rights come from. And I believe that the transgender movement has been hijacked by progressives because they want to cause chaos and confusion to ultimately attempt to destroy America. How else better to do that than to confuse people on what gender is, to blur clearly defined biological lines. You don't have to be a religious person like myself to see that a man is a man. I'm not saying that a grown adult can't live any way they want to live. I think it's sad. I don't think it should be encouraged. I don't think men should be able to go into women's bathrooms or to compete in women's sports because there's an unfair biological advantage. But I believe that if they're an adult, if they want to mutilate themselves, they ought to be able to live as they please. But I do not believe that society should be saying that a biological man is a woman, or vice versa. I do not believe that American or Western society should have to bend the knee to someone who has gender dysphoria, a mental illness which we really should be seeking to treat instead of glorifying it. And see, that's the problem I have with all these movements that the left wants to co-opt. They want to tell you, oh, you're fine just the way you are. And anyone who tells you any different is a bigot. Well, it's time to stand up for truth, my friends. It is time to acknowledge the things that you know are true. Simple facts, like a biological man is a man. He can get made up, cut up, live however he wants to live, but he's still a made up, cut up, confused man. And he doesn't have a right to impose his lifestyle on the rest of society. And then if you have a moral problem with it, like myself as a Christian, you should not be forced to acknowledge their delusion. See, that's the problem. These people who were in charge, I'm not talking about your average neighbor who leans left. I'm talking about the people who want to cause chaos, confusion, and destruction. They want to use all these movements to further confuse the American people. Why? Because if they don't acknowledge biological facts, if they can't distinguish the truth from a lie, then they'll believe anything. And I believe that's exactly what's happening with transgenderism and the LGBT movement in this country. They're just trying to cause chaos, confusion, and destruction. They are trying to blur the lines of what is morally acceptable. They are trying to get you to deny what you know is true and to deny your religious beliefs. Why? Because they know that if they can force you into submission, that they can ultimately get you to worship the God of the state and to do as the state pleases. And once the state has their way, by the way, the state doesn't give a damn about LGBTQAI plus alphabet soup community. Once the state ultimately has their way and has control over the lives of every single American, and the Constitution has been destroyed, which is their ultimate goal, they will force you to worship at the altar of the state. That is the ultimate goal. Make no mistake about it. And I just want to tell you that I love every single person, but I will not, absolutely not say that a biological man is a woman. These are things that I know to be true, that you know to be true, and I will not bow the knee to wokeness or political correctness. And I appreciate that even though the creators of South Park sometimes even make fun of my religion as a Christian, I appreciate that they have the boldness and the cojones to be able to speak truth to power. That, my friends, is what comedy should do from time to time. It should piss you off so that you think, so that you get introspective. And that is the importance of the First Amendment, to protect offensive speech. That's why comedy is so important. And I appreciate what these people are doing at South Park. I appreciate that they're willing to stand up against the woke mob, because very few people today seem to be willing to do that, regardless of what it may cost them. But we must be willing to do this if we want to preserve the American way of life, so that I can live my Christian lifestyle the way I want to, and that anyone else can live their life the way they choose to see fit. That's the whole basis of libertarianism. That's the basis of free will. I believe society works best when it's voluntary. But the state should not be involved in trying to force a system of morality, what they deem to be moral, which is often immoral, on groups of people. That's why they're afraid of us as Christians. And I believe that's why they're afraid of anyone who says, wait a minute, I'm not going to deny basic biological facts. I'm not going to deny that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. I'm not going to deny that there are biological differences and that people should be treated as if there are biological differences, because there are. So I appreciate that while making us laugh, that South Park can highlight that and highlight the absurdity of the woke mob. Please do me a favor. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel for more content.